I make big boss moves, any obstacle I'm through. They be hating and it's true, growing problems but it's cool. I make big boss moves, any obstacle I'm through. They be hating and it's true, there'll be problems but it's cool. I make big boss moves, any obstacle I'm through. They be hating and it's true, there'll be problems but it's cool. There'll be problems but it's cool. Anytime they wanna come at me, I'll take them back to school. Anytime they wanna run at me, a ninja ain't no tool. Anyone that has a problem can go back and get a clue. Anyone that has a target on their face before I'm through. An assassin on the mic and then I never miss my cue. Straight up ninja, it's a battle when I really see the view. Keep it on the grind and we're doing something new. I make big boss moves, any obstacle I'm through. They be hating and it's true, there'll be problems but it's cool. I make big boss moves, any obstacle I'm through. They be hating and it's true, there'll be problems but it's cool. I make big boss moves, any obstacle I'm through. They be hating and it's true, there'll be problems but it's cool. Power moves, make boss moves.
Oh, what's up, everybody? Welcome.
What's up, Christian?
Oh, yeah, just enjoying another Sabbath, about to dive into another Bible study about this book series that we've been doing. It's been real
Nice.
amazing. The last couple episodes, we've really gone deep with this.
Yeah.
So tonight, by the way, my name is Christian, and this is co-host Ninja. If anybody watching don't already know, and if you're new, welcome. If you want to follow along with us in a Bible, go ahead and do that. We're going to be diving into chapter 2 of the book series, America Has Fallen, and talk about the fall of economic wealth, where we're heading as a nation, why it's happening, and all that stuff. We're really going to be going down on this. So we'll just begin on this. You got your Bible, Ninja, right? So go to Matthew 6:24.
Matthew 6:24.
Yep. And then I'm gonna do Ezekiel 28:16. So this is the fall of economic wealth. We as American citizens living in the most prosperous nation on the earth have ended up making wealth the god of our lives. We spend our days for it, sacrifice time with our family and friends for it, and above all, ignore Yahuwah because of it, which is what Satan wants, who is the god of money. So I'm going to read Ezekiel 28:16. By the greatness of your trade, you became filled with violence within, and you sinned. So I thrust you from the mountain of Elohim and destroyed you, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. So it links Satan in this verse with being involved in trade. And that's insane. It says, the greatness of your trade, you became filled with violence within, and you sinned. So Satan is a businessman or a business being. And he's involved. This is before he fell. He was involved in trade. So go ahead and read Matthew 6:24, bro.
Matthew 6:24. No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Yahweh and Mammon.
All right, so mammon is another word for money. So, like financial wealth. One second. Oh, so hold on a second. I gotta go out. I gotta go outside real quick. No, never mind. So we have to serve Yah, not money. I left my lights on my car, on the truck.
Oh no, you
My
better go
roommate
get
just
that.
came in and telling me. Yeah, my roommate was telling me. I'm gonna go do that real quick, but go ahead and read 1 Timothy 6:9 through 10.
1 Timothy 6:9 through 10.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, you talking to me?
All right. Did you read that? Hello.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to change my. What did you say? 1 Timothy.
1 Timothy 6:9 through 10.
1 Timothy 6 says, "Those who desire to be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and harmful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, for which some have strayed from the faith in their greediness, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows."
So it warns us here that in the end times, people will be chasing after wealth. It says Satan in that last first verse that we went through, he's involved in trade, economic trade. He's involved, and it led to violence, which is what we're witnessing in the Middle East, and all the things that are happening with the Strait of Hormuz, the violence that's undertaken as a result of trade.
Yeah.
And our nation and what we're doing, what our president is doing, violent wise, is a direct reflection of Satan in Ezekiel 28:16, and then he tells us not to love money because it leads to evil. So people are killing over resources and stuff, and and bombing people over resources.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all tied together. Satan is the god of mammon, god of money. He's on our money. We went over that in God we trust on our money, where that comes from, and how
Yeah.
that's actually talking about Satan. And our nation is the number one trade nation on the planet. And now we just heard in Ezekiel that he's involved in trade and unleashing violence as a result of trade.
Yeah.
Um, and we're seeing that manifest on our stage right now, or on our world stage right now. Now let's go to 2 Timothy 3:2.
Okay. You
Go
want to
ahead
read
and
that?
read that one. Yeah,
Second
I'll read the
Timothy
next one.
3:2. For men will be lovers of
Yep.
themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving. Yeah, there's a lot. So it just keeps going.
Yeah, but what I want to point out is lovers of money. In the
Mm-hmm.
end days, people are going to be so consumed and obsessed with money. This is why Yah is destroying the monetary system. This is why he's bringing down the system of money, because it's consuming people. It's making them do things that they should not be doing just to obtain it. Unleashing violence on other countries just to obtain it. Like, we in America, as American nation, we are constantly obsessed with more, 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 and we're killing over it. And people are killing over it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So Yah sees that, and he's taking it personal. So he's taking. This is why this chapter is called the fall of economic wealth. And why? Because who's behind the monetary system in America? Satan. Satan is on our money. He literally put a stamp on our money. And then
Mm-hmm.
anybody who's involved in the system is spending their lives for it just to obtain more stuff that they don't need, just to live luxuriously. And it says, it predicts it in the end times, that the final power, the final people, group, will be obsessed with money. They'll be lovers of money, and that's one of the attributes you can see everywhere, right? So instead of lovers of Yah, we should be lovers of Yah and not lovers of money, because Yah is our sustainer. When this system falls and collapses, everything that we once used to rely on closes their doors. We no longer get food stamps, Medicaid. We no longer have jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to be the one at the end that sustains us through that, because we should have been depending on him the whole time, not depending on a man's system.
Yeah.
So look at all of our pastors that preach for money. Give me your money. Give me your money. And that's evil too. If y'all went to a church today, he'd flip over the tables, because people are turning his houses of worship into dens of thieves. So our Father commands that we spend our lives for his will and agenda, and that we focus on loving our neighbors. We are disobeying when we are more concerned with a big bank account and an abundance of possessions. So Matthew 22:37-40. I'll read that one.
Okay, let me know.
Matthew 22. Okay. 37-40. It says, and Yahusha said to him, you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all of your heart, with all of your being, and with all of your mind. This is the first and the greatest command. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commands hang all of the Torah and the prophets. So five laws that teach you how to love Yah properly. Okay, observe his Sabbath, know his name. You know what I'm saying? Thou shalt not kill. And then the other five is for how to love your neighbor properly. Don't covet his wife. Don't steal. Don't kill. You know what I'm saying? So all of the commands of the Torah hang on those two things. Love him with all your heart, mind, and strength, and love man like yourself. Like you're supposed to put others' needs before your own, right? Well, we're not exactly doing that when we're killing other people for what they have. Just to have it, right? So the character of our nation right now is more acting like Satan than it is Yahuwah, because people are not loving their neighbors. They're hating on them, gossiping, beating them down, tearing them down instead of building them up. Some of us aren't. Me and you aren't, because we have love in our hearts. So we go out and put others' needs before our own. We're always trying to help everybody else out. We're always trying to build them up, not tear them down, right? So my point is, I wanted to point that out, is that's what's the first and foremost most command. It's not a suggestion, it's a command. He tells us to focus on him, not anything else, right? Let him be the main focus. Does that like, do you agree?
Yeah, I do.
All right. We are told not to store up treasures on the earth, or to love this world's customs and practices, or there will be no room left for our Savior and Creator. Okay, so this system, monetary system, is stealing our worship away from Yah and applying it to laboring for jobs, laboring for your what's it called, your savings account, or your 401k, or whatever, right? So basically, it's taking what should your time and energy and focus away from him and applying it to things that are stealing it from him, right? So Matthew 6:19-21, go ahead and read that.
Matthew 6.
Yeah.
And 30 what?
So it's Matthew 6,
Mhm.
19 through 21.
Oh, 19 through 21.
Yeah.
Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust destroys and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, your heart will be also.
So don't labor to store up food. Don't labor to store up anything in your house, because what he'll provide your needs every day. You don't need to store anything, right? And lay up, hoard a bunch of stuff in your houses, and this is on a personal, individual level, but on a national level, don't store up your oil, don't store up anything, right? Because thieves will come in and break in and steal it. He says it's basically worthless to do this because you show your lack of faith when you start to panic out of fear. Oh, I'm going to run out of resources. Oh, I'm going to run out of this, or I got to store up this, and this. I got to go get two ply because COVID hit. You know what I'm saying? I gotta buy up all of the stores, two ply. Like everybody was freaking out during the COVID. They're like, I gotta have this, gotta have that. It says, don't worry about that because he'll make it available when you need it, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Um, okay, so 1 John 2:15 through 17 is another verse.
Okay, I'm there.
Says, "Do not love the world, nor that which is what is in the world." By the way, the Hebrew word here is the system. Like it's talking about the worldly system. He tells
Mhm.
us, "Do not love the system." Okay, anyone that loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Why? Because everything this world promotes is anti-Bible. It breaks the Father's heart. It's anti-ever, things that are not of Him, right?
Mhm.
And then it goes on in verse 16 to name what this world is based off of, like the foundational principles of people's beliefs and what they promote in the culture is based off these three things. Okay. Because all that is in this world is for the lust of the flesh. There it is right there. Everything in this world that this world offers has something to do with a lust found in the fleshly nature of ourselves, right? The lust of the eyes, so making it appealing to your eyes. Everywhere we look is always bombarding our senses, right, with something, whether it be a new product or a new car, or whatever it is in this world is feeding on the lust of the eyes. And then the pride of life, it's not of the Father but is of the world. So this system that basically boosts your ego, who has the biggest house, who has the best car, who has this, who has that, right? It's basically boosting yourself, your ego. It's designed to inflame your lust for the flesh, drinking alcohol, going and smoking cigarettes, doing whatever the flesh is wanting you to do, and it's causing some form of destruction. The system is designed by that way because Satan runs the system of this world. So it's you can look at the system and study it and see, oh, all these things are actually satanic and they're designed to destroy you. This is why Yah says in that verse, don't love the system, don't love the world and the things of it. Because if you do, it's going to basically say to him that you don't care what he cares about. You only care about what your flesh cares about,
Mm.
right?
Right.
So this is one of the reasons he's coming to destroy the system. That's what I want to focus on. It's ran by Satan, so he's coming to destroy it. And then when he destroys it, it's basically a blow to Satan, right? Like his kingdoms on the earth will fall because it's linked to the monetary system. Satan created it through trade. We're the biggest nation on the planet that does trade with all other nations. So when this nation collapses, it's basically a dethroning of Satan's kingdom. So that's why it's coming down. That's why he's bringing it down.
Hmm.
Our nation was given. Now here's another thing before I read this. Another reason he's destroying this system is because we have done something that we were not supposed to do with our wealth, and we didn't accomplish what we were meant to do with the wealth that we have obtained because of him, not because of us or anything we've done as a nation. Because as we've discussed, our nation is anti-Bible and completely the opposite of what the Bible teaches as a collective nation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So our nation was given the keys to the world's resources not because of our good behavior, right? But for the purpose of blessing the third world countries as the head of the nations. And we have closed our hands, forcing Yahuwah to have to pry our hands open through violence. Okay? So we talked about this, that Yah will hold us accountable for how we treat foreigners and other countries. And we've talked about this in another podcast on how one of the things that we've done is we've closed our borders to people who have come here for freedom and liberty and justice for all, right? And we've closed our borders, and we basically are hoarding our resources and telling everyone outside of our country to go F off, you know, we don't need to provide for you guys either. But see, Yah gave us an abundance of resources that if all of us were to open our hands, we would be able to bless all the other nations on top of being blessed ourselves. But see, we've closed it and we've hoarded it, and now he's allowed our borders to collapse to where he's allowed these people to have it in their hearts to come over here and take what we have by force. You know what I'm saying? When before we had a chance to do what we were called to do with the resources, which was bless other nations and help other nations prosper as much as we've prospered. You see, but we're selfish. We've been selfish as a nation, and we've said, no, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? And so now other countries that are suffering are now coveting what we have. And the only protection from what is coming from other nations is Yah protecting us. And if Yah removes that hedge of protection, all of these people are going to swarm in like locusts and start taking what we have worked so hard to build in America and take it from us by force. You know what I'm saying? And this happened to other nations. Rome did it. It happened to Rome in history. You know, Rome fell from within. Same thing. From other foreign countries coming in and taking by force through war. You know, and they conquered the unconquerable Rome that used to believe they were untouchable. So, Galatians 3, 8 through 9, we'll go there. This is where we discover what the original intent of our wealth was for. It's actually because it was promised to Abraham in the Old Testament that through him nations would be born. And then those nations would become prosperous to do what this verse is saying right here.
And what is it?
You
Galatians
want to read
3?
it? Yeah, Galatians 3, 8 through 9. Is there
Okay,
anybody in the
Galatians
comments yet?
3, 8 through 9. I don't see anybody in the comments.
Can I bring this home with me?
All right, Galatians 3:8 through 9.
All right, it says, and the scripture, foreseeing that Yahweh would justify the Gentiles by faith, preached the gospel unto Abraham before saying, in you all nations shall be blessed. So then those who are of faith are blessed with believing Abraham.
So Abraham, out of him formed the lineages that formed the Western civilization, right? So Yah promised Abraham that his seeds would be blessed, his children would be blessed, and their children after them would be blessed for the purpose of blessing other nations. We just read it. That's literally what we're supposed to do is bless other nations because all 10 tribes are scattered all over the Western hemisphere. Okay. And when we bless other nations, we be blessed. But when we start to curse other nations and start to destroy other nations and become a tyrant to other nations, we're waging war with the heavens because he established the nations on the planet. Yah did. He's the king of kings and the king of the nations. Daniel calls him that, right? The king of the nations. His decrees from his throne is how everything is ran on this planet when it comes to the nations. Now, when the nations start to turn tyrannical, or I can't say that word, and start to bully other nations and steal their resources, something bad happens every time to that nation, right? So Deuteronomy 28, verse 12 is where we discover why our nation was so prosperous to begin with, starting out. In 500, 500 years America's been around? In 500 years, this nation has received so much wealth and prosperity that it's insane. Yeah, Deuteronomy 28, verse 12.
It's Deuteronomy 28, verse 12.
Yep.
Yahweh will open to you his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in its season, and to bless all the work of your hands. You shall not lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. Oh, you shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow.
So when we, as a nation, were to yield to the Torah, the laws of Yah, we get blessed to the point where we never have to ask for any resources. We are the resource. It says we will never have to borrow, but we borrowed from other countries resources because we have not been obedient to the one who we say we worship. You know what I'm saying? And so Deuteronomy 28 says, if you yield to him and his ways as a nation, you will prosper. That's what our forefathers did in the original beginnings of this nation, is why there was so much prosperity. But now our prosperity is decaying. Our forefathers believed in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? They believed in Benjamin Franklin was a believer. All these people believed that were the founding fathers of our nation that wrote the Constitution of America, right? They were believers. They set up a system that was supposed to bless other nations. And when they ended up, and now our world forgot about the Constitution and forgot about what they worked so hard and died to create, that it's now decaying. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that we were being blessed from, he says it comes from the heavens. Like he opens up his treasures in the heavens. And then he brings down the rain, which produces crops, which produce food, which produces what? Now there's a drought in the land. Everywhere's on fire because he's he's closed the heavens from the rain. He stopped the flow of the blessings. He stopped. You know what I'm saying? That's what we went from being the number one resource on the planet to now begging other countries for their resources. How does that happen? You know what I'm saying? Like It happened because we walked away from obedience to the one who gave us the blessings to begin with. And we stopped doing what we were supposed to be doing with those blessings, and that is blessing our neighbors, our neighboring countries, our neighbors individually, and because you got to remember, he speaks as a unit, as a nation, and then speaks individually too to his people. So whenever he talks in the Bible, it's always talking to a nation and then talking to an individual too, personally, So we have a lot of angry foreigners who are starving and dying in tyrant ran countries who are coming to our lands in the West to take the resources that we have hoarded for ourselves by force. And Yahuwah is going to let them strip us naked for our disobedience. Proverbs 11:24-26. Ugh.
Okay.
You want to read that one?
Yeah, I'll read that one. Proverbs 11:24-26. There is one who scatters, yet increases more, and there is one who withholds more than is right, but it leads to poverty. The generous soul will be made rich, and he who waters will also be watered himself. The people will curse him who withholds grain, but blessing will be on the head of him who sells it.
Okay, within that Proverbs, there's a system. If you're generous, you get blessed and you're rich. As a nation, if you're generous, you get blessed, you become rich. But it says if you start hoarding and withholding resources from people or from other people, from as an individual or as a nation, people will curse you. You'll stir up the anger of other people, and those people will become, like animals. They won't care. They'll just come and start killing for what they want. And it says that he allows this to happen because you're not opening your hand and being generous to what you have to meet needs of other people, right? Well, a lot of people are like, well, it's my stuff. I work so hard to get. No, you wouldn't have it if y'all didn't give it to you. If y'all gave you 3 cars and you're walking around with 2 cars sitting in a freaking in a garage, and somebody that needs a vehicle, and you refuse to you withhold that, and you refuse to give them the vehicle to use to meet that need, y'all's gonna take those vehicles from you. He's gonna make it to where something happens. Thieves come in and take your vehicles, or it breaks down, or you end up in a car crash and you lose a freaking vehicle. He's going to take it personal when you have 5 pairs of shoes in your closet and you don't give somebody you see that needs shoes those shoes, and he presents that person to you, and you refuse to do that. Well, now somebody's coming in and stealing your shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what he's trying to show us in a little microdose. Those are just a little bit of examples. But he's trying to show us that as a nation, if you want to stay prosperous, you better learn to be generous. Because if you don't, you'll lose everything. And Satan is not a generous being. So if Satan's character is in you as a citizen, then you're going to be selfish. You're going to be like mine, all about me, all about my well-being, while people are starving, you're going to point the finger at a homeless person on the street and mock them and say, oh, get a job, bro, instead of actually going and helping when you can. Y'all takes that personal. He sees what you do, whether you believe in him or not. That don't matter. Just because you don't believe in a creator doesn't mean that the creator stops existing.
Right. Right.
and don't mean you stop enduring through what the consequences are that he lays out in his word.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So in the coming days, okay, right. Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong page. So Deuteronomy 28, 43 to 44. Let's read that real quick. And this is talking about what happens when he withholds his blessings from a nation.
You said Deuteronomy 28:43 through 44?
Yeah.
The alien who is among you shall rise higher and higher above you, and you shall come down lower and lower. And he shall lend to you, but you shall not lend to him. He shall be the head, and you shall be the tail.
Okay, wait a second. So the foreigner, the Mexicans that were hunting down the Muslims that were hunting down, will Yah will reverse the blessing and put it on the people that are being declared terrorists or a problem in our country or whatever. They'll rise higher and higher in the ranks of blessing. They'll get jobs that you won't get. They'll get money that you don't have, and then they'll be at you'll be at their doorstep when you need help and begging them for their help, and they won't give it to you. That's what this is, a reversal of power, like a shift of power that he's talking about here in Deuteronomy. And then 50 through 52, read that.
A nation of fierce countenance, which does not respect the elderly nor show favor to the young, and they shall eat the increase of your livestock and the produce of your land until you are destroyed. They shall not leave you grain or new wine or oil, or the increase of your cattle or the offspring of your flocks, until they have destroyed you. They shall besiege you at all your gates until your high fortified walls, in which you trust, come down throughout all your land, and they shall besiege you at all your gates throughout your land, which Yahweh has given you.
Okay, borders, the border crisis that we just had. He said
Mm-hmm.
he will bring your borders down, and he is the reason that there was a border crisis. He is the reason these foreigners that come in here, they don't respect the elderly. They'll kill without remorse. You know what I'm saying? Like these people that were labeled terrorists are very dangerous people that they have been allowed to cross over into our borders, and and nobody was able to stop them because it was like they were in a like the people that were in power were like confused and not having any ability to come up with some kind of plan because Yah determined this. He said that I will bring these people over and they will what? They will take your ranches. Okay, China is now coming over here and buying up all of our ranches and buying up all of our livestock and buying up everything that we use to eat, right? Because we're so in debt as a nation to China that they can do this now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then all of I mean, everything that verse just said, the borders collapsing, our resources being stripped from us, food stamps in the form of our food, they'll rip our food away from us. Food stamps was given to the foreigners, and everybody's like, why? Why did this happen? Because Yah moved it to happen. Even though people were complaining about it, it still happened. And they're still getting resources that even our homeless here in America don't even receive.
Food stamps are
Does
not
that make
free.
any sense?
That's not true. Because you have to have a social security number. So
Yeah, but the Biden administration, I heard her, the Biden administration had given people that were foreigners resources, Medicaid, food stamps, all of that in like certain states, even if they didn't have the proper paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
That's also verifiable too, if you guys didn't see that. But this happened when Biden was in office, and we're talking about the border crisis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And nobody was able to stop them from coming in, right? And it's like they came in by the thousands, and we're still trying to figure out who came over here in our communities.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so Venezuelan people that are known for being violent gang members are going into people's houses and killing them and like doing like that was on the news too just recently.
Mm-hmm.
Venezuelan gangs going in and taking over their houses, people's houses by force and just killing them and taking out their taking in going to their houses and then overwhelming the police in certain cities that are called protection cities or whatever they're called,
Mm-hmm.
safe haven cities or whatever. Um,
Right.
okay, so but this was in Deuteronomy 28. We just read that. The border crisis. Borders will fall. We are not going to reverse the border crisis when its prophecy is being fulfilled. The foreigners will eat, the American citizens will end up starving because Yahuwah himself will move Donald Trump to cut out exports from other countries, which will end up turning into a famine upon us all. So Isaiah 5:13 through 15 talks about this too.
Isaiah 5:13 through 15.
Yeah.
Therefore, my
And this
people
is
have. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, and before we read this is talking about resources drying up.
Okay. Isaiah 5:13 through 15. Therefore, my people have gone into captivity because they have no knowledge. Their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore, Sheol has enlarged itself and opened its mouth beyond measure. Their glory and their multitude and their pomp, and he who was jubilant shall descend into it. People shall be brought down, each man shall be humbled, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled.
So famine is a form of humbling. When a famine comes and strikes a nation, it humbles the nation. And
Yeah.
it says that he makes it the mighty people famined, like full of famished, so that they're not able to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like so this is a judgment. This is how he judges a nation. He brings a famine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Revelation 18:11 through 19 talks about where the next famine is going to strike. And we
Okay.
we talked about how Revelation 18 is a chapter for America, New Babylon, aka New Babylon.
Yeah. Revelation 18:11 through.
11 through 19.
Oh gosh. You want to read that one? That's long.
Yeah, I'll read it. And the
Okay.
merchants of the earth weep and mourn over her. This is talking about after the destruction of our system. Weep over her. Uh, wait, we're at 11, right? Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Revelation 11, sorry. And mourn over her because no one buys her merchandise anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when the economy collapses. No foreign country will come here and buy our trade anymore because Yah has stopped it. He stopped the trade from happening. And then it says, merchandise of gold and silver, precious stones and pearls, and fine linen and purple, silk and scarlet, all of the citron wood, and every object of ivory, and every object of every precious wood, and bronze and iron and marble, and cinnamon and incense and fragrant oil, frankincense, wine, oil, fine flour, wheat, cattle, and sheep, horses and carriages, and then bodies of living men, human trafficking, is mentioned here. Uh, So, and the fruit that you being longed for has gone from you. All of your riches and splendor are lost to you, and you shall find them no more, not at all. And the merchants of these, who became rich by her luxurious living, shall stand at a distance for fear of her torture, weeping and mourning, and say, Woe, woe, the great city that was dressed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and adored with gold. Now we're talking about Rome, by the way. And we talked about in another podcast that Rome in the West is America and Rome in the East is ancient Rome, where the Pope sits. So when this famine hits, it's going to hit the Europe. It's going to hit Europe, and it's going to hit here, and all of our these verses will come to reality. We will all experience merchants no more, and trade no more, and all of the luxurious things that we used to get by violence will be no more.
Mm.
Um, for in 1 hour such great riches will be laid waste, and every shipmaster. Now this is talking about the Strait of Hormuz and all of these places where cargo ships come in with resources will no longer be allowed to come in with resources to our countries, because Yah has predicted judgment and pronounced judgment upon our nation. So he's not allowing this to happen. And he's allowing our enemies to be able to withhold their resources and be successful with it. So sailors, every shipmaster and every passenger and sailors, as many as worked the sea for their living, stood at a distance and cried out when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, "What is like this great city?" And they threw. Oh, by the way, Europe's on fire, so this is actually describing Europe being on fire right now, which is in the headlines. Europe is literally burning right now. So, and it's affecting the economy. Every shipmaster, every passenger, sailor, as many as worked the sea for their living, stood at a distance and cried out when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, "What is like this great city?" They threw dust on their heads and cried out, weeping and mourning, saying, "Woe, woe to the great city, in which all who had ships on the sea became rich by her wealth, for in 1 hour she was laid waste. Rejoice over her, O heaven, and you Kodesh people and prophets, for Yahuwah has completely avenged you on her." Now, this is the crazy part that a lot of people do not understand. Yah does not forget what we did in America, not us personally, but our forefathers down throughout the centuries that established this country through bloodshed and violence in the name of God. On everyone that didn't agree with their ideology came from Rome. We talked about this, right? So Yah's saying here that this final destruction of the system that was built on bloodshed, right, and force and war and violence that Satan established on the earth is in 1 hour going to be completely destroyed. Nobody's going to be enjoying its luxury living anymore, and everything is going to come from him being remembering what we had done to his people throughout history.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah,
So, like, he said, I'm going to break, because what Rome did during the Crusades and the amount of bloodshed and murder that took place during the Crusade, Dark Ages, Holy Roman Crusades, whatever, that time period, when they started murdering and killing in the name of God as priests, in the name of Satan, by the way, as priests, then established our country based off that foundation. Yah's coming to wipe out the foundation in 1 hour.
Mm. Wow.
So we can expect to see the system collapsing and not reversing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna read the rest of this, and we'll just end it there because we're running out of time. I
Yeah.
got 10 minutes, so I'm just gonna read this real quick. The
Okay.
American justice system that have created human slaves for money and lying pastors that have led the world astray for profit, and the pride of our nation, casting aside Yahusha and his law, has brought this economic collapse to our doorsteps. So when he decides to cut off our daily bread because people have stopped praying for it, but just expecting it without even giving a thought to the provider who gives it, we will all know who truly is the one who sustains us day after day out of mercy, even though we do not even know him by name. The ones who will die in the famine are the ones who stand with Satan and oppress the poor to get richer, and is unwilling to lend their houses, their finances, their jobs, or anything to bless their neighbor and love their neighbor as they love themselves, and give temporary housing. But those who are generous will become the storehouses in the midst of this collapsed economy. No longer will the wicked shake their fist to the heavens and enjoy the blessings of prosperity at the same time. Those who don't tithe 10% of their income to make sure others' needs are met will witness their finances and their possessions disappear and be handed over to other people. So their houses will go to other people, go into foreclosure, and other people will inhabit it. Your cars will get repoed and get given to other people. Like, we witnessed this through COVID. This actually happened, and certain amount of people actually lost their jobs, and where jobs were given to other people. That, you know what I'm saying? So, like, imagine that on a massive scale, even worse in the coming days. In the
Right.
coming days, when the wicked are starving, who have no respect for Yahuwah or his word, they will see Yahuwah's chosen ones flourishing like a garden in the midst of a collapse and receiving an abundance of resources through supernatural intervention. When Yahuwah moves the wicked to just out of nowhere give their resources to the saints. Isaiah 49:23. I want to read that.
Okay.
Isaiah 49:23. 49:23 says, and sovereigns shall be your foster fathers, and their sovereignness is your nursing mothers, as in they will be your source of resources. They bow down to you with their faces to the earth and lick the dust of your feet. And when this happens, you shall know that I am Yahuwah, and those who wait for me shall never be ashamed. So he's saying, the people, sovereigns, the ones in power, the ones that are landlords, the ones that have the jobs, the ones that own the companies, they're going to bow before the saints. They're going to bow and lick the dust of their feet. And what that is, that's not actually what's going to, they're not actually going to lick the dust of feet. That's a metaphor for bowing beneath them, because their whole lives they've looked down upon them,
Mhm.
upon people with their resources. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, look at me. I got a house and you guys don't. I got a job. You guys don't. I got money. I got in the bank. You guys don't. Well, watch this. Y'all's going to reverse it.
Mhm.
So Revelation 3:9 also echoes this. Which, by the way, the synagogue of Satan is what we call the Jews in the Middle East, Israel right now.
Mhm.
They're actually called in the Bible the synagogue of Satan, who say they're Jews, but they're not.
Right.
So he's talking specific, and our nation was built by the Jewish people, what they call the Jews. That's why our nation, our forefathers were involved from the very beginning with Israel. And Israel is what we call Israel nowadays, right?
Mhm.
That all of our Hollywood people, they're all part of the Jews of the Middle East, Judaism, all that stuff. They're all connected and intertwined.
Right.
But this is what he says to the people in power in our country uh, in Revelation 3:9.
You want me to read that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Revelation 3:9. Indeed, I will make those of the synagogue of Satan who say they are Jews and are not, but lie. Indeed, I will make them come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you.
Now, worship before your feet, meaning they're going to serve just like we serve, and as a form of worship, they're going to serve the ones that are chosen with their resources and their time and their energy. They're going to give it over to those people.
Yeah.
Do you see what it's saying there?
Yeah.
And now one more verse. There's another. This echoes through the Bible. Another verse, Proverbs 14:19. We're gonna have a part two of this because there's a lot here.
Oh, okay. We've had that before.
Yep.
Proverbs 14:19. I'm there.
Okay, go ahead and read that one.
Proverbs 14:19. The evil will bow before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous.
There it is again. Same wordage in Revelation. It says they'll bow before your feet. On Isaiah, we just read they'll lick your feet, and in this verse, they'll bow before your gates, meaning before your dwelling places. They're gonna come and they're gonna serve you at your dwelling places. This is like like him compelling individuals with in putting thoughts in their minds to do these things, which is why all of these immigrants receive the resources that they receive from us, even though they legally shouldn't have. But he compelled the people in power to do this. Okay? If you think that Yah can't control the minds of people in power, and let me read you in Revelation, we're going to end with this. Revelation 13.
Revelation 13.
Oh, wait, actually 17. Revelation 17. 17.
You want to read this one?
Yeah, go ahead and read that one, and we'll end that. We'll end it here
Okay.
until next Sabbath.
Yahweh has put it into their hearts to fulfill his purpose, to be of one mind, and to give their kingdom to the beast until his words are fulfilled.
Yah puts it in the minds of people in power to give over their reign and their kingdom to other people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he literally says to fulfill what is written, to fulfill his promises and his word. So, if you don't understand through the lens of scripture what is happening in our nation, you got to go to the lens of scripture to get the proper understanding of what current events. Because where it's like we could take this as a mirror and reflect it to what we're seeing and actually follow the progression of the downfall and how it's all playing out attached to this book.
Yeah.
So let me just recap to end here real quick. We discussed that Satan owns the kingdoms of this world temporarily. We've discussed that our nation specifically is the trade nation that gives all his resources to other people, but we withheld it, and now we are getting plundered. Famine is coming. We've described that. Economic collapse is coming. We've described that. And it's all going to be a judgment. But in the midst of it, here's how I'll end it, with a light of encouragement. No matter what we face, Yah is faithful to provide and sustain his people in the midst of the collapse. So do not panic when this happens. Don't be afraid when this happens, because just know he's fulfilling his scripture and his word, and he's bringing us to the end. He's bringing the climax, the systematic dismantling. He's bringing us to the final destruction of this nation, so he could bring his kingdom onto the earth. So that's how I'll end it. But we'll have a part 2 of this. There's a lot more scripture about this topic that I discovered. But yeah, it's been a great podcast. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. I don't even know who tuned in. I don't know who commented because I can't even see it. Yeah, I just want to say one last thing. This just shows his power, Yah's power.
Yeah.
He's flexing. He's flexing.
Always
That's what he's doing.
Always eye-opening, and always definitely learning something. So that's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Love you, bro. You have a good rest of the night. Peace out, everybody.
Peace out. We out of here.
I make big boss moves, any obstacle I'm through. They be hating and it's true, but the problems are the school. I make big boss moves, any obstacle I'm there'll be problems, but it's cool. There'll be problems, but it's cool. Anytime they wanna come at me, I'll take them back to school. Anytime they wanna run at me, a ninja ain't no tool. Anyone that has a problem can go back and get a clue. Anyone that has a target on their face before I'm through. An assassin on the mic and then I never miss my cue. Straight up ninja, it's a battle when I really see the view. Keep it on the grind and we doing something new. I make big boss moves, any obstacle I'm through. They be hating and it's true, there'll be problems but it's cool. I make big boss moves, any obstacle I'm through. They be hating and it's true, there'll be problems but it's cool. I make big boss moves, any obstacle I'm through. They be hating and it's true, there'll be problems but it's cool.